Hey everyone, thanks for joining us here today at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we try to have a little fun while we talk about books of all types to help spread the joy of reading. So when we say all types, we mean all types. Today's an example. Today we're talking about manga. So you may have seen a video we did, I guess was it a couple months ago now? I think it might have been a couple months ago now. It seems more recent than that, but where we had seen Ollie over at Criminali had never tried manga before, so he decided to give it a try and brought us along for the ride, and he discovered that he really liked it. We were watching that video, and Olive said, wow, that looks like a lot of fun. We should try that, right? And I said, yeah, you're right. We totally should try that. So we did the same thing, and we also discovered that we really liked it. So since then we've read a few more and acquired a few more. We got a couple gifts, and one of the manga that we had read was that's right. That's why it was a couple months ago, because we had started this during Horror Mayhem. So we had read some horror manga, right? And who did we read? Junji Ito, right? We read Junji Ito, who is probably the most famous creator of horror manga, I believe. And we'd read a couple. We read this one, Remina, which is a sci-fi horror. And then we had also read this one, Smashed, which is a collection of short stories. So I'll try to remember to link the videos for those below if you're interested in watching the review of those. But so we enjoyed those, so we wanted to read some more Junji Ito. And so our daughter gave us this one as a gift. This is Tombs. And this is very recent. I think this came out earlier this year, I think in March 2023. And this is a collection of short stories, and this was good. This was sort of a little more of a hit or miss than that other short story collection manga. You know, some of the stories were better than others. And you know what I have to say with Junji Ito, I think, is, you know, not all the stories. So they're short stories, and a lot of it, you know, there's a major graphic element to it. So a lot of them they're not really super heavy on the plot. I think what I'm learning now, 3 books in, is that you don't really read Junji Ito, especially his short story collections, to have a lot of experience a lot of plot development, or even necessarily some great big reveal or climactic thing at the end of them. Some of them don't have that. It's really meant more for like these just sort of horrific ideas that he comes up with, and the imagery that he shows for some of these, just this terrifying imagery. You know, so like, for example, one of the stories in here was called Floaters. That was a good story, but like the idea with that was they just found these like floating things that expressed people's ideas and, you know, what was in their head, which could actually be a very terrifying concept if that starts happening to you and to others around you, right? And so that one was actually a really good story, but my point is just that sometimes it's just, you know, that was like he comes up with these very original ideas, and then the imagery that he creates in these, you know, in these panels is, you know, pretty scary graphics. So, you know, I think that's part of the experience for reading Junji Ito, and you can't necessarily expect these all to be like incredible stories with some big build-up and some major climax. I think that's not how you really should go into reading Junji Ito, in our opinion. But so this, just you know, I don't want to spoil them because they're short stories. So last time I'll just very quickly tell you what these are. So there's a number of short stories in here, a sentence on each to whet your appetite. The first one, the title story, Tombs, that was the best one in the book, in our opinion. That one was really good. That did have a whole plot with a climactic ending to it and everything, and that was about they're going to this town, and these mysterious tombstones just appear, like maybe in the middle of the road. There's a lot more to the story than that, and it was really good. So we really enjoyed that one. Clubhouse, that's where this group of 3 friends, they go to a, you know, like this sort of abandoned house, haunted house sort of thing. And one girl decides she doesn't want to go in, but the other 2 do. One goes to the top floor, one goes to the other floor. And when they come out, everything is different for all of them. And so the next one is Slug Girl. This was about a girl that just like all of a sudden sort of stops speaking. She's not able to speak anymore, and there's a reason for that. And I guess I can't really go into too much more. There wasn't too much to that story. The Window Next Door. This was about a guy that they move into a new house, and all of a sudden he starts hearing the old woman next door calling for him, like from her window is adjacent to his window, and it's creepy, and I can't really say more than that. Next one was Washed Ashore, and that was one where this very strange, humongous creature washes up on a beach, and all these people go to, they're attracted to it, and they go to see what the story is, and of course there's something very interesting about it. And so, like those two last ones that I've just mentioned, The Window Next Door and Washed Ashore, those are perfect examples of where, it's not a great development of a story. That was really just more for the imagery that, just some of these panels and sort of the horrific imagery that you see in there. That's really like what those stories were about, I think. And they're worth reading for that reason. The next one was The Strange Tale of the Tunnel, and this is about a strange tunnel where people go in to this tunnel and things happen to them, and our main character ends up discovering different parts of this during the story. Bronze Statue, that's about, there's this town where there's this woman whose husband had died a long time ago, but she's sort of like almost like a not friendly but matriarchal figure in the town, almost like it seems to know everything that's going on, and she has these bronze statues made of herself that don't really look like her. And so with all these, I can't really say too much. I don't want to spoil them. So Floaters, that was one I mentioned before. That was actually a really good story. That had plot development and everything. And that was about these. I think I mentioned these little floaty things that showed up that actually expressed people's inner thoughts. And then there was the bloody story of Shirasuna, where this doctor goes to this remote village, and these people are suffering weird. They look gaunt and bloody, and they just have this weird condition, and there's a reason for that. So that's all I can say about it. But that was so we enjoyed that book. Like I said, some were better than others, but definitely worth reading, especially for a couple of those, like the title story and the floater story. They were good. So our daughter also gave us a couple of other Junji Ito books, which we haven't read yet. She also gifted us these. This is Lovesickness, which I think is a relatively recent one. This is a collection of short stories that I think came out in 2021. And then she also gave this one, which we didn't know about, actually. This is called Censor, also by Junji Ito. And this is not a collection of shorts. This is a full story, like Remina was, and this is about this was 2019 or 2021 anyway, and this is about I don't know too much about it, but it's I think a girl meets another. She's like walking by a mountain and meets another guy who takes her to a village, and some things start falling from the sky, and that's really all I know about it. We'll talk about it after we read it. Okay, and so then the other things we read, which I don't think we talked about yet, was in our original video, we had started a couple popular manga series, one of which was called Spy Family. And so we read issue 2. So we enjoyed that, so we read issue 2. And what this story is about, I think this one went on for, I think it was like 9 volumes or 8 or 9 volumes, I think. And so what this is about is there's this notorious spy named Twilight, and his next target is a guy that's not ever publicly visible, and the only time he makes appearances is at social events at the school that his kid goes to. So in order for our spy Twilight to get access to this target, he has to infiltrate the school. So he puts together this sort of ad hoc family. And the little girl is a telepath, and the wife is an assassin. So you have the spy, assassin, and telepath that form this, spontaneous, not spontaneous, but this, he puts together this sudden family, and none of them had known each other, and they're all trying to keep their secrets from each other. So it was very cute, it was very funny, and so we decided we were going to keep going with the series. So we read this volume 2. It's hard with these. I don't want to spoil anything. So, but basically it continues the story, and now they start to, as they're trying to get admitted to the school and stuff, and they start to develop more of a familial bond. They start to care about each other, in this volume. So it continues to be good. We're definitely going to keep going with this. So we picked up volumes 3 and volume 4, because we're pretty sure we're gonna finish off this series, because this was pretty good. And then we also had tried One Piece, which is a probably the most famous manga series as far as we know. There's like over 100 volumes of this now. So we really had a great time with number 1. So we read number 2. And did I do that right? You see, with these, it's always everything's backwards with the manga. So, you read them backwards, and so I don't know if I mistakenly hold them up wrong. But so this is, again, just to recap, this is about this guy. You meet him as a child, this guy Luffy, and he idolizes this little group of pirates that come to town, and he eats this gum fruit, which gives him like this special power. Like basically his body is like rubber. Right, and so then he wants to become then you see him when he gets older, where he's trying to achieve his dream of becoming a famous pirate and seeking this lost treasure, One Piece. So he starts to put his crew together, and so this is just issue 2 is kind of just still kicking off the story. They meet. He's putting the crew together. They meet Nami. And they first start engaging with her in this book, and I guess it was the first big bad that they go up against. This Buggy the Clown is his name, and I'm going to show you a picture of him. But he's like, of course, he's like just this ridiculous character, as all these things are. Oh, I think I found a picture of him. Right? Is that? Yeah. That's Buggy the Clown. I don't know if you can see that, but and so they go against this guy, and this was great fun. So I'm loving this series so far. So we're definitely going to continue on with that as well. So we also picked up volumes 3 and 4 of One Piece. So we're definitely excited to keep going with that. And then we also received, as a gift from our friend Chris, we received this, book 1 of Vinland Saga. And this is obviously like a Viking-inspired story. We don't know too much about it, except that we've heard it is really, really good, and so we wanted to try it, and we were really excited to our friend gave us this, I think, without knowing that we had actually already really wanted to try this, so we were really excited when we opened it. So, and then the last one is that my other daughter had given us, they knew we were getting into the manga, so she had given us this Secret Reverse by Kazuki Takahashi. And so this is we're really into comics, and so we don't talk about it too much. We need to start talking about it more, but we like comic books, and so this is a sort of manga. You can see it's sort of a manga style. This is by the Yu-Gi-Oh creator. It's this manga style, but it's a team up of this is a SpiderMan Iron Man team up. So and so that's everything. That's all the manga that we've read recently or that we've acquired. We're going to keep going with these. And, yep, we'll be doing another update pretty soon. I'm not sure. We might have to start doing them, I guess, for some of these, like the One Piece and Spy Family. I don't know if we're going to have to switch over to spoiler videos for those, but because it's kind of hard to talk about the continuing story with those, and especially One Piece. That goes on for forever, and so we're probably going to just have to do spoiler videos. But obviously, we'll warn everybody if we do. And so, housekeeping thing, we had mentioned in the last video, our giveaway for the Stygian collection, the anthology that we published a story in, that's still going. We're going to close that in a couple days and spin the wheel for that giveaway. But we did an interview with Holly over at Stygian Society, the publisher of that collection, and that is now live, that video. So I will link that video below in case you're interested in watching it. So other than that, as always, thanks so much for watching. We would love to hear any comments you have about any of these manga or any other manga that you suggest we read. Oh, one thing I want to ask you guys was One Piece is now a show on Netflix, live action show. And so we're not going to watch that until we've read enough of the manga book, because we don't want to ruin it for ourselves by watching the show. But if those of you that have read One Piece and have watched the show, if you can tell us how many One Piece volumes we need to read in order to safely watch the show without spoiling the book for ourselves, we would really appreciate that, because it looks pretty cool. We'd like to watch it, but we don't want to spoil. So, okay. So as always, thanks so much for watching. We will see you very soon. If you have any comments about any of these things, we always love to hear from you. And of course, if you don't want to say anything substantive, Olive always would love to see a puppy emoji. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you very soon. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.